Hey, everybody.
Hey, hey.
Y'all know it is Thursday, the fourth. Well, it might be the fifth Thursday because it's a fifth Thursday, right? So I don't know. It's one of these Thursdays.
Yes, it is the fifth Thursday.
It's the fifth Thursday, but we're supposed to come on the fourth Thursday, but we came on at the end of the month because this time permitted for us. So y'all know
Yes.
fresh insight, new perspective. Uh, I'm Damasha.
And I'm Dr. Davis, owner of Holistic Soul Care LLC. Glad to be here.
Yes. So tonight's topic.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
While my phone is okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Tonight's topic is authentic perfection, but we're gonna do our spiel before, so y'all know generally this is like a lot of energy that we put out during these sessions online. So we're going to put out this energy, but before I'm going to pray. Dr. Cierra, you got your sound bowl, or we
I
good?
do.
Dr. Sierra is going to do her sound bowl because we want to make sure the energy is clear. We want to make sure people have a positive mindset. If praying is something that you don't do or a sound bowl, you can get off for a little bit and you can come back on. I know, we want to respect people, but we also don't want to just have our energy floating all over the place. Okay? So we appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Yes, yes, yes. Take my water. Sip.
I know I need this. Lord, thank you for this time. Thank you for this opportunity to come before people. Thank you for peace. Thank you for hope. I ask that you just continue to strengthen us, that you continue to deliver us, that you would give us that peace, that hope, that you remove all blockages and anything that try to come against us or the people that's watching. Don't allow anything to come against us, that will hurt us, harm us. Anything that someone projects our way, I ask that you send it back to them a hundredfold, that you just continue to use us to bless our lives. Give us hope. I don't know why you talk about strength and hope, but give us strength, give us hope, give us peace, give us love, give us motivation. Ashe.
Amen. Amen. Ashe. Ashe.
So
Awesome. And I'm just going to share. Thank
we're
you
gonna
so
share.
much.
So shut alive, shut alive, shut alive. I'm gonna share too because sometimes it don't make it everywhere I need it to make it. So share the live.
All right.
So today's show, like I said, is authentic perfection. And so I know a lot of people have like, and I don't want to say an issue, but some people are perfectionists. And so
Yes.
it's hard to find the medium between being authentic and being a perfectionist. So that's why I called it authentic perfection, because we don't want to get caught up in the perfection because we know that nothing and no one can be completely perfect. But
Right.
some people do strive to be that, which causes them to lose the authentic them. So we want to kind of like break that down.
Interesting. Yes. I
I'm
look forward to, so I didn't take any notes because literally we didn't have, I didn't have a lot of time to like, well, I did, but I said I was going to just
flow.
wing it because to me, this is a very interesting topic of not necessarily two words that I would put together in terms of just seeing a connection with them. So I'm looking forward to where this conversation will go.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, what do you think about authentic? Because a lot of people confuse authentic with their perfect them.
Oh, okay. And that's what I was thinking of, how I was wondering how you were putting those two together. For me, I see them as two separate. I see the connection, but I wouldn't necessarily see them as the same as connected the way that you described it until you describe it. To me, authenticity is being your natural self. No matter how that presents itself. Now, I don't mean from a perspective of, you just say whatever you want and you don't have any type of professionalism or standards by which you say
Right.
things in terms of being respectful. But what I mean is what you're saying and how you feel comes from that authentic place. So it comes from a place that's from you and not external, or not jaded by other people or other things.
Right.
Um, so that's what I think of being authentic. It's, whatever I'm saying, whatever I'm presenting, it's coming from the core of who I am, not from being a repeat of someone else, or putting on, um, whether it's how I look, what I say. It's coming from my desire and from the core of who I am, kind of going back to when we was talking about that sense of self, that self-worth,
Right.
how I feel about myself, that it's authentic to me and not a copycat of some sort. That's what I think of with authenticity, whether it's, like I said, through looks, through speech, through the way I work,
Right.
that it's the core is from here, and not, I'm not pulling it from somewhere else and presenting that to the world as myself.
Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah, how about you? What comes to you when you think of authenticity?
When I think of authenticity, I think of just being you. You know what I'm saying? Like no matter what,
Mhm,
you're just you. Whether
mhm,
it's the good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty, the cute, whatever it is, you're just being you. If I'm learning that people really know what things in their life they need to change. You know what I'm saying? They literally
mhm.
know it. And so once
Okay.
you decide, like, okay, this is who I am
Mhm,
Masha, but there are some things about me that need to change. Now you're being authentic because instead of saying like I'm Masha and I don't need to change nothing, I'm perfect. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So now you're being that perfectionist. And so I think with how the
Okay.
two collide is because we don't know what authentic really looks like for us, not what authentic looks like for Dr. Cierra, because you're Dr. Cierra. You have your own authentic characteristics and
Mhm,
morals and what you want to do and things that you need to change within yourself. But I'm Damasha and I have to be authentically me, you know?
mhm.
So that for me is like I like when you said to me, because to me, I'm authentic. But to
Okay,
someone else, I might be perfect. You get what I'm saying?
okay, okay. Yeah,
So
that's deep.
So definitely, I think that people get caught up in perfection because perfection kind of is like what other people want you to be and what other people say you are. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So then you get into a battle within yourself, thinking like, okay, I have to do this perfect because if I don't, this person is going to be upset, or if I don't, you're going to play in your
Mhm.
mind like people are watching me, people are talking about me. So that's where that perfection comes from. When you're authentic, you're just you.
So do you think that people's from that exam, do you feel like the pressure that people feel from external, from other people, makes them feel like they have to be someone else, thus not being authentic? Because, okay, you want this type of person, so let me be that person,
Right.
even if it means not being who I am because I have to put on for you. So really kind of living for others. That's where
Right.
you
Kind of living for someone else, taking on their characteristics, their goals, how they want you to be. It's almost like you're settling. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? I really don't feel this in the inside, and this is not the thing that I want to be.
mm-hmm.
But I'm this because Dr. Sierra said she likes when I cook cookies and I turn them upside down. I'm just giving a crazy,
Okay. Yeah.
experience. Or, for instance, like if you're in a relationship or if you're in a friendship, you know, you don't like the sideways jokes that your friends say to you that they make seem like jokes, but they're not really jokes. It's how they really feel. But at the same time, you just put up with it because I just want my friends. You know what I'm saying? And for you, they're perfect. But to them, you're imperfect. You know what I'm saying? So then you get caught up
Okay.
in not being your authentic self. Because instead of you saying, like, listen, y'all not really my friends.
Okay.
Y'all not really there for me. You know what I'm saying? Or in a relationship. Yes, I don't like to watch TV, but you like to watch TV. So no, I don't want to sit with you all the time and watch TV. I can compromise some, but that's not the thing that I do. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? So just continuing to be you. But I think people get afraid to be them because they're scared they're going to lose people, situations.
Totally.
like so many different things. So then they can't be authentically them. So now you're in a battle between being authentic
Yeah.
and being perfect.
Yes. Yes. As other people see you and will receive you. Yeah, I think this is really good and this is really deep. There's so many we could break this up. Each concept could be its own conversation. Because then I think, what does it take to be authentic? And then I think, from what you was just saying, what keeps people from being their authentic selves?
Right.
Um, and what leads to that sense of perfection or having other people accept you. I
But
think, uh-huh.
what does it take? Like, what does it take to be authentic?
I think it takes bravery to be authentic.
Oh, that's
I
good.
think you have to be, there's a power in being authentic, in meaning, you have to be at a state where you really, I'm not going to say don't care what people think, because I believe that that's a natural part of us, where we want to please and we want to make friends, and but there has to become a certain point where you say, you know what, whether people take me, whether they leave me, this is just who I am. So I think it
Mhm.
takes a lot of bravery, because there's a lot of judgment. What if people won't like me? What if I'm not pretty enough? What if I'm
Mhm.
not religious enough? What if I'm not churchy enough? What
Mhm.
if I'm not popular enough? And so, you can go down that road and start to diminish yourself or hide. Um, Not saying that that's not appropriate at times, because there's times where you have to protect yourself, but that's another maybe conversation or another road. But I think bravery, saying, you know what, this is who I am. And I was talking to someone recently about, when we accept ourselves, it's easier to accept the fun parts of ourselves, the outgoing,
Right.
happy, complicit perhaps. But it's harder to accept, those dark parts of ourselves, that shadow
Mhm.
self. And it takes combining both of those to say, you know what, I'm part of the light and I have some dark.
Right.
And I think that's part of it too, not just the bravery of other people, but the bravery of encountering ourselves, saying, you know what, I'm not always that perfect person. I'm not always happy. I don't always want to talk to people. Like,
Right.
there's this dark side of me that's not always, right. And I put that in quotes, and that's okay. And how do I live with myself? How do I manage? And that's the hard part, is sometimes it's those external pressures, but this could be another road we go down, but those internal pressures that we
Right.
put on ourselves to be the perfect person or anything but that authentic. So sometimes we have to somehow find our way back to ourselves, when we ourselves want to push ourselves
Yeah.
away from the authentic self. So I would say bravery. That's the first thing.
Bravery. I like that one. I like.
Really getting out there and saying, you know what, it is what it is. Whether we are accepting ourselves and taking that leap, or whether we are expecting other people to receive us. So we have to
Mhm.
say, you know what, even if this is who I am to myself, then I accept that for myself. It's a hard one. It's easy to talk about external, I feel like, but to accept self, um, and integrate all these things, I think it's harder. Um, but yeah.
I think it's harder too. I think it's harder to accept self than to try to get others to accept you. Because like getting others to accept you is kind of easy because you just adapt to who they want you to be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so adapting to who someone wants you to be, whether you do it fast or you do it slow, that's kind of easy. But looking in the mirror and saying like I'm really a messed up individual,
I was gonna
it's
say,
hard. You know what I'm saying? Like literally,
it's hard.
like it's hard to look yourself in the mirror and say that, or just to even say like I really need to change what I'm doing. Like I when I'm talking to people, they always say like change is hard. And change is hard,
Mhm.
especially when you've been doing certain things your whole entire life. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So now you get up into an adult and you decide like, wait a minute, this wasn't right in my life. This wasn't right in my life. That wasn't right in my
Mhm.
life. And now you got to transform. It's
Mhm.
easier to just stay the same than to be authentic. You know what I'm saying? Or it's because everybody's gonna look, like you're thinking like everybody's looking at me. Everybody's saying I changed. Everybody says I'm being funny or I'm being
Mhm.
different when they don't realize it's a transformation in self within yourself. But I like how you said bravery because it literally takes for you to be brave in order to accept that I have to be me. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like no matter what the world's doing, no matter what my friends are doing, no matter what my parents taught me, grandma, auntie, uncle,
Mhm.
everybody else, I have to be me. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
everyone holds you at these standards of perfection. To them, you will be perfect if you have 5 kids and you got married at 20. And
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? So all of
Yeah.
those attached to your life, those are those perfectionist things.
Mhm.
But it has nothing to do because maybe you don't want to get married and maybe you never want to have
Right.
kids.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
maybe there's different things that goes along with that. So just helping people to understand like there is a thin line between being authentic and being perfect because you can cross that line really easy to either one. You know what I'm saying? But then how do you center yourself back to being authentic?
Yeah, that's good. And understanding that the reroute you had talked about, it's disruptive, but
Mm-hmm.
it often leads you to the authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even if it feels like it doesn't, even if it's just a mindset shift, but you're doing, because I think sometimes we as people want the sky to break open. We want this major shift. We want to maybe lead a whole different life to feel
Right.
like we're transforming, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not necessarily like that. Sometimes it's something small or it's a mindset shift and your day might look the same, but it
Right.
doesn't mean that transformation hasn't happened. I found that as well. It's like, things just look the same. It hasn't changed. And sometimes we're looking for certain things to quantify the shift or the authenticity. And it might not be a bigger shift. I don't know. That just came to my mind just now. And I don't know why, but maybe it's for somebody out there
It
to
gotta be
not
for somebody because
necessarily
I was
judge the
thinking,
authentic look, but to
right.
trust that the shift is happening. And sometimes it is like a 360, and sometimes it's just, oh wow, like I don't think like that anymore. And it might be a small thought.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but
Like an epiphany, like poof, like wait a minute. I
yeah,
didn't
or like I don't
know
need to be around these people anymore. Okay, let me stop doing that. Or I need to not take that road anymore because that road leads to something that's not good for me. It can look in a lot of different ways, but the the shift, I forget the word that you use, um that we move away from often leads us to where we want to be.
right.
And that can be a hard thing, because when you're going through it, we don't necessarily see it. So
I think
yeah.
that's it too. Yeah. I think when you said that though, it made me think about how sometimes when I'm coaching and people want that transformation, like they've been working with me for like 3 weeks and they like, I don't see nothing changing. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I'm like, well, wait a minute, because this changed about you. This changed about you. You no longer
Yes.
coming into sessions upset and angry. You coming into sessions saying that you want
Hmm.
peace and this is what happened in your life and da 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 da. And I think sometimes that when that small change happens, you
Hmm.
don't always notice it because you're thinking of transformation, turning into my authentic self to be like poof. You know what I'm saying? Like some kind of
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
somebody hit you with a wand and then you become
that's
somebody
right.
else. And I don't think people know that being authentic is a journey because you're still learning yourself.
Hmm.
You
True.
are
And we're always learning.
you yes, you are. I learned some things about myself this week. It was funny. But I
Same
did,
here,
you know
for
what I'm
sure.
saying? Like I've just learned, like I'm like, wait a minute. why? Like I'm asking myself, like, why I've been doing that? Like I don't understand that. Like that's
Exactly.
kind of okay. So I need to change this. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So, but I think people think that it just happens overnight, and you decide like I'm different. I don't think that they understand that it starts with the thought pattern, and sometimes that conscious
Absolutely.
mind, that subconscious mind is like taking over from the memories or the old stuff that you went through, and you
Mhm.
have to talk to that subconscious mind and tell that mind like, okay, no, I'm not going to that place no more because nothing happens good for me, or I can't
That's
be
right.
around this person anymore because that's not a good situation for me. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I tend to
Yes.
get into this and I tend to get in that. But I think the perfection comes in with that is when people fall or when they do a transformation and then they go back, they
Mhm.
feel like they have to be perfect, not understanding that being authentic is a every single day, every moment, every second. It's a journey.
Mhm. True. Yeah.
It is a journey. Like you got your bag and you got your good shoes on and you walk in and you may wear them shoes down and
Mhm.
you may lose everything in that bag and you might turn around to go back and get it or you might say I'm gonna keep straight and I'm
Mhm.
gonna keep going. But whatever choice you make, you can always get back up from it. You know what I'm saying?
And that's true.
You don't
And
have to.
that's the hope. And I think, we all have different ways of handling the fall down.
Mhm.
Um, Sometimes it's like, okay, well, let's just get back up. And then sometimes we can fall in the pattern of being down for so long that it's hard to jump back up. Um, so that leads me to kind of my question for you is what do you feel is important, is needed, like we had talked about, to what are some more things that people can do or utilize to be their authentic self? Like I was saying, bravery. And yeah, what else do you think is needed to
I'm
stay on that
thinking
road?
I'm thinking like a lot of self-reflection. You know what I'm saying? Like truth.
Hmm.
So truth would be my word.
Excellent.
And reason being is because if you lie to other people, you're going to lie to yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I always tell people that if you ready for a transition of life, I want you to start with telling people no.
Okay.
I want you to start with telling them no. Because that's the truth that you feel in the inside. The biggest thing
Hmm.
that people have an issue with is saying no. That's the biggest thing. No, I cannot. No, I will not be there. No, I don't accept that. No, that is crossing my boundaries. Like no
Hmm.
is a big word for people, even though it's only two letters.
That's
So
that's true.
but truth is when you start being honest with other people, it will start reflecting back to you.
Hmm.
It will definitely start reflecting back to you because when you walk away from that situation, you'll be like, wait a minute, was
Hmm.
I right for that? Or
Hmm.
did why did I you know what I'm saying? Like you'll start
Yes.
questioning yourself. And how you trigger your brain is questioning yourself.
Hmm.
Even
And in that moment, that's when you really start to realize what your truth is and really how you feel. Because then you'll say, well, no, I don't want to do that. Why? And then you'll start that self-talk, that we
right.
talk to people about of, okay, no, I don't because this, and this. Or maybe I shouldn't have said that, or maybe, so even if it's either way, you start to refine your opinion on things and the way
Exactly.
you move. I love that.
Exactly. And that's what it is like being true to yourself is starting to refine your opinions about what you feel about yourself. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like I can say I'm really sweet and I tell people like I'm really sweet. I'm a very nice person, but I mean what I say and I say what I mean. You're not going to turn me
Mhm.
no other way except for if I said this no, that's what it is. I'm not changing my mind.
Mhm.
I'm not going 10 steps back. It's no. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? If I say I'm not coming, I'm not coming. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So it's kind of like, but you have to be ready to battle with all of that what you're gonna deal with in your mind. Because
Mhm.
when people start to turn into their authentic self, now it's a battle in your mind. Nobody likes you, nobody calling you.
Mhm.
You think your change is stupid, it's not working. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? Or is this really me? Because you start questioning yourself, like, is this really me? Like, is this
Mhm.
how I really feel? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I tell them, yes, it is. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to show up to everything. And no,
That's
you
right.
really don't care for that person's attitude and you don't care for the way that they treat you and you
Mm-hmm.
don't care for the things that they say to you. No, no. You know what I'm saying? So
Very.
I think that another way to continue to be authentic is to be true. And if
Mm-hmm.
you are not true to yourself, you are
Mm-hmm.
not going to be true to others. But for whatever reason, people in places and situations and families are a big thing for us. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Because we have been taught to put others before we put ourselves. Now we're trying to transform our mind to put ourselves before we put others. You get
Yes.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
That's
Especially
right.
in the Black community, we've been taught to
Mm-hmm.
put that person first. Put that person, no matter how you feel, no matter if you're sick, you got a bush
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Put
That's
that
right.
person first. But that's not how it goes. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you're not healthy, how you gonna? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not
Mm-hmm.
being honest with yourself, how you gonna be honest with somebody else? You
That's
can't.
right. Truly. Wow, you said a mouthful. I agree. I agree. And when we are our authentic self, when we are showing up, you know, speaking like you were saying, speaking your truth, holding fast to your boundaries, your no is your no, your yes is your not yes. And you talked about it. People start people start to one respect you because they know, if you say something, then it's true because you don't play around with your words. And so if you say something, well, let's say if you flip-flop, if you're one person today, one person tomorrow, or you have one opinion today, one opinion tomorrow. I'm not saying that we don't change, but I mean, that in counseling we call it congruency,
Mm-hmm.
that there's a congruency within your life that where you are on the outside is the same as who you are on the inside, that your life mirrors itself in
Yeah.
different spaces, in different people. I mean, the core of who you are, not, we're the same with our spouses as we are with people, but the
Right.
core of how you present yourself, that, when you meet me here and then you meet me at the grocery store, that you're not meeting two different people presenting as two different things.
Of course.
That's what we call it in counseling, is congruency. But when you people start to know that, okay, when Damasha says something, then I can believe it because she doesn't go back and forth about in terms of who she is and what she says. So I'm more willing to listen as truth, because more times out of you know more times than not, it's accurate, and I don't mean necessarily correct, but I mean to who she is. It's
Right.
the same
Right.
presentation that I met last year, so I can trust that. So
Right.
you teach people how to receive you when you stick when you're authentic. They know, again, not that we're perfect, but that what the person they see is the person that they're going to
That's who I
get.
am.
um
Yeah.
and to me, that's important to me. Not that I present this perfect person, or I'm always going to be showing up as, like, my higher self, um because I don't. But it's important to
Right.
me that people know that what they're getting is me, and they don't have to wonder, like, okay, which version am I going to get today? Or if I talk to her, I don't know what I'm going to get, so how do I prepare myself for the multitude of options that she presents? Like, I
Right.
don't like that, because then it's like, one, I don't have a core, I'm not, I don't have a core of how I do myself. And two, it, externally, because I've been that person towards other people, where I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to get. It makes me uneasy. It
Right.
makes me unsure, and it makes me not trust them because I don't know what I'm going to get. And so that scattered,
It's all
inauthenticity, it's hard for me as a person being around that type of energy. Um, so yeah, I think it helps people respect you and understand what they're going to get. And in line, hopefully, it helps them say, okay, no, I can't be around her because that doesn't fit for me, whatever it is. And so
exactly
being authentic, it helps you really draw in your true tribe. If I'm presenting myself as something else, my true tribe, the people who really will connect with my soul,
right.
with who I am as a person, they're not going to recognize themselves in me. They're not going to recognize me as a part of their soul family because I'm this. But
True.
when I'm truly myself, my true people can be like, okay, yes, that's my soul
That's my
um,
sister.
family, because we connect on a soul level, because what I'm projecting is what they connect with. And so it's a great, marriage, so to speak, or bond, because as they say, game recognize game. But if
Right.
I'm presenting somewhere else, my true people, the people that I really want around me, they're not, we're not going to be on that same wavelength, because I'm presenting something else. So it's,
Exactly.
when people say, oh, I want to find my tribe, I want to find my friends, it's important for, my thought is, okay, well, who are you and what are you projecting? Oh, I'm bringing all these people to me that I don't want. I don't like this guy. I don't like these friends, but I just seem to keep drawing him.
Right.
Okay, so if you're drawing what you don't want, the opposite of what you don't want, in my mind, I'm thinking, what are you presenting then? Are you presenting your authentic self, and is that self drawing that in? And if it is, to me, there has to be a disconnect. Or are you lying, saying that you really want something that you don't?
Right.
So, because that could be it too, that we're projecting our authentic self, but we really don't want what we say we want. So we act like, or we're lying to ourselves,
Mhm. Mhm.
saying, I really don't want that, but it keeps coming to me. Well, there's a reason it's coming, because, and that's a whole nother role when we talk about
Right.
manifestation and how
Right.
you draw things. You draw what you're putting out.
Exactly. That you do that all
So,
the time.
you
All
know,
the
that, yeah, I think that goes back to being honest, what you said about what we're projecting, but also I'm kind of going down the road of what we're saying we want.
time. Mhm.
If we
Mhm.
want authentic to come back to us, what are we putting out? Um, and are we honest with what we're trying to draw in, which could be a part of our manifestation, workshop. But yeah,
I'm
so I think
telling
about
you.
that too. I hear that a lot, like, oh, um, why am I drawing in the exact opposite? Why, or whether it's people, whether it's just life events. And I
Right.
think we have to be honest too about what are we manifesting, even if we don't, this kind of manifestation talk, but it's all a part of it. Sometimes we manifest things that we're not conscious that we're doing it. And sometimes that's because, again, like you talked about, that self-reflection isn't happening. Whether are we in our truth, and are we being honest with what we want?
Right.
Because I believe what we truly want in our heart and what we want in our mind oftentimes will show up. So I think that's a hard, at least for me too, when I've been thinking about some self-reflection, I'm like, well, do I really want that? Um,
And why?
is this,
Why do you want it?
and
Because
why do I want it, or why don't I want it? Is it out of fear? Is it out of, because sometimes we say we want stuff and we don't, it, but we don't say what we want, but we do, for a variety of reasons.
I get exactly what you said.
So,
Because we want to seem modest. We don't want to seem like we're being um like I think what really bothers me is this thing when people say, "Oh, well, this person thinks they're all that," or they think this. You
hmm.
are supposed to think highly about yourself. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And you're supposed to want the best quality. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand why it has become a bad thing for you to want quality or for you to want the best for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And so authentically, you want to live in a mansion, you want to have a driver, that's what you authentically want. But
Okay.
because people are like, oh no, you ain't gonna never make it there. That's crazy. Like me, I want to live in a Scooby Doo van. That's where I want
Okay.
to live.
Okay.
If I didn't have kids, I would probably be like the homeless people. Like I would just be chilling, me and my laptop and my book.
Right.
I'm simplicity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
But
get
if
it.
you elaborate, be elaborate. Because don't let people like dumb you down and skew you into their perfection of
Yeah.
what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think that leads to what we're really talking about, kind of overarching, is when I was talking about your tribe, is
Mm-hmm.
really being careful about who we are around and their influence.
Right.
on us and what we do. Because if you're around people that, and I know that your desire is to be in a Scooby Doo van. One of mine is to just get in an RV and just travel and just, or a tiny home. Like, not necessarily, I don't really necessarily feel like I need necessarily, well, as an anchor, yes, but I could be living here, there, and everywhere. Like,
Right.
I think I'm just a free spirit. I probably was like, I don't know, like a dragonfly in my other life. So like I just, so
You said I
so
was
I
a
like,
butterfly.
yeah, yeah. I like the idea of being free, of not necessarily
Right.
being tied down. So if you're around people that not necessarily agree with that or want that lifestyle, but
Right.
that want to suck that desire out of you when it's yours to have, you want your
Right.
Scooby Doo van and you want to read and just float around and help people, and that's a problem. We
Right.
have to really take inventory of who are the people that are around us
True.
and what influence do they have over our life to the point where they are really dimming our dreams.
Because people get what they call imposter syndrome. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So
Yeah.
people like you and I are together, we're hanging out, and oh, I like your house. Oh, I like your dogs. So now I go and buy me a house like yours, and I go buy two dogs like yours. You know what I'm saying? But that's not really what I want because I'm thinking like I don't even like dogs. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like me
Yeah.
when I told you I said when I got divorced, I didn't know who I was. Like
Okay.
I didn't like TV. That's not what like I'm not a TV
I
watcher. Like
remember you telling me.
I
Mhm.
love football, don't get me wrong, but I don't
Mhm.
have to watch like sitcoms and shows and all
Uh-huh.
that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking like I really don't like to stay in the house. But throughout my marriage, I was in the house, I was watching TV with him, like I was doing
Mhm.
then I was like, I don't even like meat. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mhm.
don't really like chicken or turkey. Like I'm not into that stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like I took on his characteristics of who he was and who he felt I would be perfect as. You understand
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So that's
Totally.
where perfection comes in. But then when I figured out who my authentic self was, okay, well, I no longer watch TV like that. Like every now and again, I watch a movie.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna watch a sitcom. Um, I'm going to go outside. I like being outside. I
Mhm.
like being in the heat. I like the sweat. Like
Mhm. Me
so
too.
it just has to be who you are genuinely. You know what I'm saying? Like what is it that you want to be
Mhm.
authentic? You're brave because you know people are going to think that, oh, you changing, you think you better than us. But you're not thinking that. What you're thinking is, I just need to be me.
Mhm.
It's hard.
Or you didn't do this all these years. Now all of a sudden
That's
you
the one.
you know, or I remember you, because I'm telling you, people who, not saying that I wasn't my authentic self, but I've evolved. So people who knew me as a child, they're going to recognize me as a soul, like as a, hopefully as a warm presence. But me at almost 40 and the evolutions that I've had and the spiritual awakenings, they're not
Right,
going to know me as the same 10-year-old or whatever. Or
right,
same with college. They're going to know me, but in terms of knowing me as a true, like who I am as a person, I've evolved so much. And
right,
so, people will try to keep you in these spaces of, I knew you back when, and you used to do that, and try to not give you grace and just understanding of, people evolve, people change their mind, and they're, hopefully, as you're getting older, you evolve closer to that congruent self, or
right,
to that authentic self over time.
right.
And so that's part of, um, developmental 101 is, with each stage, we get closer, hopefully, and closer to the center of ourselves. As things fall off, hopefully, um, you
We
get closer
evolve.
to, yeah, how you feel and evolve. But that's a trap too, that people will try to take you back there, or sometimes ourselves, it might be like, oh wow, this is a big departure, like I'm totally different, and we have to learn to accept that as well, that was you then,
And
you
that's
know
okay.
and
And
that's okay.
I think that's where the it could be like you could go tonight tonight, like we're just Demasha and Cierra. I could go and I could play the lottery. I don't know how to play the lottery, and I wish somebody would teach me. But I could go play the lottery. I'm just gonna throw that out there. So I could go play the lottery. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Do whatever, scratch the numbers, put the tickets in, and then I could win the lottery.
Mhm.
I'm going to change. Like
Period.
literally, I'm going to change. I just won $421 million. I'm
Mm.
changing.
Yeah, and you should, for your development and for your higher self,
Right,
to connect with that higher or that new, change. You
right.
have to, or you, it would be a detriment to your new sense of self. It really would. It'd be
It
a
would.
danger to that
It would be a
if you
danger.
didn't.
I posted something early this week, and it was Lauren Hill, and she was saying that um, she had to reintroduce herself to her mom and her dad and her sisters and whoever, like she had to
Mhm.
reintroduce herself. And then I saw something right after that. It was somebody posted like, allow me to reintroduce myself. I reintroduce myself daily because I
Mhm.
grow daily. You feel what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like when you're skating into that authentic you, you're going to grow daily. You're going to learn
Mhm.
different stuff about yourself. Like here I am. I've been on this journey for a little minute, but every day I'm learning something different about myself.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
Yeah.
learning something like behaviors or characteristics or thoughts or, something like that about myself. And I'm like, girl, what? You know what I'm saying? So, but it comes from me being honest with me
Mhm.
looking myself in the mirror and saying, like, you don't have to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? But you do have to be you.
Mhm.
And
Right.
whoever that is, like I don't have to
Yes.
be Cierra. I have to be Demasha. You don't have
Mhm.
to be Demasha. You have to be Cierra.
Mhm.
And it's life, and it's okay to be you. It's okay to separate from people. It's
Mhm.
okay to separate from situations. It's
Mhm.
okay to say enough is enough. Like this is not what I want. And I think that's where the perfection comes in, is because people feel like their perfection is based on someone else's emotions or a place or a thing, or it's based on that. And it's not. It's based on
Yeah.
you. What you feel is
Yes.
authentically what you want.
All right, now I have a question because you gave a good example, and I think this can help a lot of people. So, let me write down my thought because I be having so many thoughts. Okay, um, so I'm going down two different roads to get to the same
Okay.
destination. So you were talking about, so there's people that say, you know what, I can't be in this family. I can't be with this crew. I can't hang with these people because I'm being my authentic self. This is who I am.
Mm,
Take me or leave me. Or they do that, and I don't like that because this is who I am. This is my authentic self, and that's just not. I don't want to do that
mm,
from the perspective of I don't want to. I don't want to connect, or I don't want to give. I
mhm,
want to stay in my using authenticity as an equivalent to not connecting, or
uh-huh.
to not bonding in a way that you do things that other people like to do that's not always what you want to do. I'm kind of going down that road.
I get
And
you. I get you.
so you were talking about like being married before, and some of the things that he liked or he wanted wasn't necessarily you.
Right.
Um, so my question is, how do people find that balance between understanding like, okay, I'm in this relationship and I understand I don't like football, or I don't like, I don't know, shopping, or I don't like whatever, but there has to be, but I know that that's what they like. So, there has to be a middle ground. Or um, because everything's not going to be what I like
Right.
or what
Right.
he or she likes.
Right.
That person who says, I have these friends and they like to shop or they like to do whatever, and I don't like that. And this is truly who I am. You better accept me for who I am because this is me, i.e., this is my authentic self.
Right.
But we understand that relationship isn't to be authentic, doesn't mean, I think sometimes people feel that being authentic means that you're rigid.
Mhm.
You don't move, you don't budge because I know how I feel about this.
Right.
Um, and I don't mean like core beliefs. I
Right.
mean like
Purpose.
connecting to do something and connect with people that isn't always the way you want it. So can you talk to people about how do you make that balance where you maintain your authenticity, but it does being authentic doesn't necessarily prevent you from, and it's a word I'm looking for, but I can't find it. Well, it hasn't come to me yet. Let me reframe that. Doesn't prevent you from, I'll say acclimating for lack of a better word. So that's
Okay.
my way to that.
As it pertains, and this is just my opinion, as it pertains to relationship, I find that people have shallow reasons for getting into a relationship. You know what I'm saying? They have like, and they're not honest in the beginning because there are a lot of things in the beginning of the courtship. I put the court because it be going already to a relationship before they even get to the courtship. So I'm sorry. So I find
Don't say sorry. That's how you feel, girl. Be your authentic self.
oh goodness, girl. So as it pertains to the courtship, like they're not honest. If there are things that that person is doing that they don't like, there are red flags that they see that they know they can't deal with them. But because this person either has money or they find, I'm just gonna put up with it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? This person has no thought of where they're going or what they want in life,
Yeah.
but you have like you are in a space of you're going somewhere and you know what you want to do with your life, but then you try to combine and change someone. So that's where that issue comes is because people start wanting to change people into what they want them to be when you're not even being your authentic self. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
And then acceptance, you going around saying like, take me as I am, this is who I am, blah, blah, blah. Nobody has to accept you. You
Right.
have to accept you. I
Mhm.
don't have to accept your authentic self. I could say I'm not accepting that and walk away. You know
True.
what I'm saying? And I think that's the problem is the goal is not to be accepted. The goal is just to be you. Your tribe of people will just come. They will literally just come. You will just encounter people that
Mhm.
are your tribe of people that quote unquote accept you, but they're not really accepting you. You're being you and they're being who they are. And it's okay.
Mhm.
And it's respect. In relationships, there has to be a level of respect to let that person be who they are. Yeah, you're going to have some compromising, especially in a marriage or romantic
Mhm.
relationship. There's going to be a time where you don't like football.
That's what I was looking for, compromise. Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna rub my husband's leg while he watches this football game. I'm probably gonna scream a lot of him. Let me think of another example. Okay, while he watch Power, Empower, whatever you call that sitcom.
Yeah.
So while he watch Power, I'm gonna sit there and rub his leg, and I'm gonna be agitated because I really don't want to watch this.
Mhm.
But that's my compromise to spend time with him. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
To be at that moment selfless. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying? Not being selfish, but just being selfless,
Mhm.
just to appease him for our show. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we have to one, nobody has to accept you. They don't. You can be authentically you and be by yourself every single day.
Mhm.
Nobody has to accept you. That's not their job to accept you.
Mhm.
It's their job to trust that this is who Cierra is and believe that this is who you are until you do something that changes the way they have it's perceive you. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because perception changes. So acceptance is saying this is who you're going to be all the time. But
Mhm.
perception is this may change. This is the Marsha today, but she's growing and she may change into something else.
Mhm.
So they don't have to accept you. And then just like in a relationship, you have to know that you are different people. And we
Mhm.
don't you cannot change people no matter how much we try to do it.
That's
We
right.
cannot change the authenticity of whoever you're in a relationship with, you're dating. You have to go in respecting who that person is. But you can do that if you just take the time to learn them. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like you literally can do that. And if there like there's been times in my past where I was dating and I dated a person like maybe for a couple of weeks, maybe
Mhm.
for couple of months, like just going out on dates, talking. And then a few things happen and I take a little mental note. Okay. I ain't really liking that too much.
Mhm.
Okay. And then, but then I have an honest conversation with them, like, I really think you're a good person. You are just not a person for me.
Mhm.
I still want to remain your friend because on a friend level, we are good, but on a relationship level, you do some things that I'm just not accustomed to. And I'm not going to tell you to change those things.
Mhm.
That is who you are. It's not my right to tell you, you got to
Mhm.
change this for me. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Because now you're getting caught back up in being not authentically you. So now you
Mhm.
sneak in to do it. You get what I'm saying? You sneak in to do whatever, whether it's eat a whole box of cereal. You sneak in
Mhm.
to eat a whole box of cereal. Now you lying. So now we have a problem. So that's
Mhm.
why I say, like, authentically, you have to allow people to be who they are. And if they don't mesh with you or they don't bond
Mhm.
with you, then you have to separate.
Mhm.
And that's okay. But you can't use
Mhm.
me being authentic as a crutch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm authentic, I'm gonna be me, and y'all ain't gonna tell me how to be me. Because literally you're not dealing with who you are.
Mhm.
You want to
And
change
that's
everybody
right.
else. And you want to make them accept you? No, 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 no. 'Cause I'm in
Or use it as a boundary for connection, you know.
right,
So, I'm gonna use it to keep you away from me. So,
right.
this is who I am. So you stay over there and I stay over here, and using that as an excuse to not engage, or yeah, just to not engage. So it can go that way as well. So
It
wow.
could go both ways. It could definitely go both ways. And we are at our time because we got to stay time constrained because we'll
That's
be here
right.
10 o'clock tonight. We'll be talking.
Right.
So, do you have any exiting thoughts, Dr. Sierra?
Other than my excellent thoughts is, well, thanking everyone for tuning in, whether you're watching it live currently or whether you're watching a replay. Thank you for your time. And still feel free to put your comments in the comment section, so that we can respond. Takeaway thoughts is that it takes bravery. We talked about how it takes a lot of truth and self reflection to be authentic, to stand in your truth and who you are. Understanding that sometimes I think it's easy, depending on what we're talking about, but I think the whole process is hard, I think, or not as easier said than done. I'll say that. Um, but I believe it's worth it, that we all evolve, that we change. um, no, and that change looks different within ourselves, and it looks differently amongst people. The way it might look the same within me at times or different, but it might look different. We might be working on the same thing, but change for you might be different for me, and we might be working on the exact same thing. So yeah, what are your final thoughts?
I think my final thoughts would be just to live your truth. You know what I'm saying? And have those hard conversations with yourself. Just like
Mm-hmm.
we say, oh, I got to have a hard conversation with such, 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 such. Have those hard conversations with yourself first. Because a lot of times you will find that you are trying to change someone into who you want them to be when you're not trying to change yourself of
Mm-hmm.
who you really are. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So have those truth conversations, those respectful conversations with
Mm-hmm.
yourself mentally, emotionally. And then when you're doing something and you don't know if it's authentic or it's perfection, ask yourself why. The
Mm-hmm.
simple question, why did I do that? Why
Mm-hmm.
did I say that? Why am I behaving this way? And then ask yourself what can I change? And I will say this one last thing is when you get into, and I don't know why I'm saying this because it just came to my mind, it's the second time. When you
Mm-hmm.
get into an argument with someone,
Mm-hmm.
don't judge them first, judge yourself because
That's good.
you are in control of you.
Mm-hmm.
You are not in control of what they said or what they did, even though we like to say things like they made me do it because uh, their action made me do this.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, you are always in control of you. your authentic self,
Amen.
your words, your thoughts, your, you know what I'm saying? Like your everything.
Mhm.
So just remember that when you get into those spaces, like you're in control of you. No, you can't control that person. So no, you can't control them putting your hands on them on you.
Mm.
You can control whatever you do.
That's right.
We control people. We cannot change people to be who we want them to be. We can only change us to who we are and
Mhm.
who we want to be.
Mhm.
And it's okay to separate
Right.
from things that you don't want. It's
Right.
okay to say like you're a nice person, but you're just not a person
But
for
it's
me.
not working. Right. Right.
It's not working. It's okay to tell your friends
Mhm.
or your friends that you're my friend, but I'm looking for something else. Or I'm going this way. Y'all can go that way. I'm not judging what y'all do.
Mhm.
I'm saying I'm not gonna do it.
Mhm.
That's always my speech for people. I'm like, I'm not judging what you're doing. I don't care what you're doing, really.
Mhm.
I'm not even focused on it, literally.
Right.
But I'm gonna go this way because this is what I'm finna do. And it's not that I feel any kind of way. And
Mhm.
I think we got to stop feeling any kind of way when we make a decision for us. You know what I'm saying? We got to just make
Mhm.
a decision for us. It's okay.
Mhm.
So, and again, thank y'all for listening. Y'all know
Mhm.
Dr. Cierra and I are here every fourth Thursday, except for if it's a long month, we're gonna be here the fifth Thursday. So,
Mhm.
so every fourth Thursday we will be here. Fresh insight, new perspective. If you have a topic that you want to talk about, you can inbox one of us, and
Yeah, that'd be great.
that would help us help you.
That's right.
So it will help us help you. So just inbox us and say, hey, what about this topic, or what do you think about this?
Mhm.
And we won't mention your name up here. We won't even inbox nothing crazy. We'll just be like, okay, that could be a next topic, and then we'll go on.
Sounds good.
Don't think that we're trying to be in your inbox and we're gonna be like, well, Billy Joe Bob, Billy Joe Bob has said this. We just gonna
Right.
we're gonna discuss what it is, but we definitely appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all time and
Yes.
your love and support. It's been 1 year, Dr. Cierra, that we've been
It's
doing.
been 1 year. We started, gosh, I think 2 years ago we started. Was it 2 years ago?
It was almost about 2 years ago that we
When
started.
we had the self-love work,
Yeah.
um,
Yep.
workshop on that Saturday.
Yep.
And yeah, this time last year we did the spirituality workshop. I think we had did two because they
Uh-huh.
came up in my memories. I'll have to share in the group. So
Yeah.
yes, it's been 1 year for first fresh insight, new perspective.
Yes. So we've been doing this for a little minute and we're going to
Yes.
continue to do it just to show that it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't let people tell you it's not okay. It's okay. So we love y'all. Thank you for
Bye.
tuning in and goodbye.
Bye.